The alarm began as a low pulse. One slow, heavy tone that rolled through the metal corridors of Outpost Vega. 9 like distant thunder. Most alarms on the station were routine. Pressure leaks, navigation warnings, the occasional pirate scout wandering too close to human territory. But this one was different. Within seconds, a pulse turned into a continuous scream. Red lights flooded every hallway. Automated blast doors slammed down across multiple sectors. Security drones lifted from their charging racks and activated their weapon systems. Every console on the base flashed the same warning. Omega Predator detected. Inside the command center, Captain Marcus Hale stood perfectly still, staring at the screen. Around him, alien researchers and officers began speaking all at once. That signal can't be correct. The scanner must be malfunctioning. Check the external cameras. A tall, thin alien scientist named Dr. Viral leaned over the tactical console, his long fingers shaking as he pulled up the sensor feed. When the image appeared on the main screen, the entire room went silent. Something enormous moved through the storm outside the base. At first it looked like a shadow crawling across the rocky terrain. Then lightning flashed, and the shadow moved. The creature stood nearly 8 meters tall, its body covered in overlapping plates of black armor that glistened under the rain. Its limbs were thick with muscle, and each claw dug deep trenches into the stone ground as it walked. Its eyes burned like molten metal. Dr. Viral's voice came out in a whisper. "No!" Another alien officer stepped back from the display. "That's impossible." But the computer didn't care about impossibility. The identification label appeared on the screen anyway. Kharvax class Omega Predator. Every alien in the room recoiled as if the name itself could kill them. The Kharvax Beast. Across the galaxy, the creature was more myth than reality. Entire mining colonies had vanished after encountering it. Military expeditions had tried to hunt it. None had succeeded. The official records said the same thing every time. Do not engage. Do not approach. Evacuate immediately. The creature wasn't simply dangerous. It was unstoppable. Dr. Viral turned slowly toward Captain Hale. "You don't understand," the scientist said urgently. "Your base must be evacuated immediately." Marcus didn't answer. His eyes remained locked on the screen. Outside, the monster moved closer. Each step shook the ground hard enough to vibrate the station's outer sensors. Defense cannons rotated automatically toward the approaching target. Outer perimeter weapons ready. The station AI announced calmly. "Fire," Marcus said. The cannons unleashed a storm of plasma. Blinding bolts of energy streaked across the dark sky and slammed directly into the creature's chest. For a moment, the entire battlefield vanished inside a cloud of burning light. Several alien officers sighed with relief, but then the smoke cleared. The Kharvax Beast was still standing. Not injured, not slowed, just standing. The glowing plasma scars on its armor faded within seconds as the creature resumed walking. Dr. Viral staggered backward. "You see," he shouted, "that thing survived orbital bombardment during the Valtrex incident. Your weapons cannot stop it." Marcus crossed his arms. "How long until it reaches the gate?" he asked. A human technician checked the data. 3 minutes, sir." Around the room, panic spread rapidly. Alien personnel began gathering their equipment. "Prepare the evacuation ships. We must abandon the station." One of the alien commanders grabbed Marcus by the arm. "You must order retreat," he demanded. "If the Kharvax enters the base, everyone here will die." Marcus calmly removed the commander's hand. "Relax," he said. The commander stared at him in disbelief. "Relax." The external cameras suddenly shook violently. On the screen, the massive creature had reached the defensive wall surrounding the base. The reinforced barrier stood 15 meters tall and was designed to stop meteor impacts. The Kharvax didn't even slow down. It lifted one clawed arm. Then it struck. The entire gate exploded inward like it had been hit by a crashing spaceship. Metal screamed. Support beams snapped. And the galaxy's most feared predator stepped inside the human perimeter. Several alien scientists ran for the exits. One collapsed to the floor in shock. Dr. Viral turned back toward Marcus, his voice filled with desperation. "Captain Hale, please. Seal the station and abandon this place while you still can." Marcus finally leaned forward and activated a new camera feed. The beast was now inside the outer courtyard, moving slowly through the base. But something about its movement caught his attention. It wasn't charging wildly. It wasn't attacking random targets. Instead, it was moving with purpose, almost like it was following a scent. Marcus zoomed in on the creature's path. The tactical map updated instantly. A red line appeared across the station layout, and the line pointed directly toward one location, Sector 7, the most secure research area on Vega 9. Dr. Viral noticed the same thing. His face drained of color. "No!" he whispered. Marcus glanced at him. "You know what's in that sector?" Marcus asked. The scientist hesitated. Then he nodded slowly. "Yes." Marcus leaned back in his chair. Outside the command room windows, the sound of tearing metal echoed through the station as the Kharvax smashed through another security door. The monster was getting closer, much closer. Marcus watched the screen with quiet curiosity, because if the creature truly was heading towards Sector 7, then the galaxy's deadliest beast had just made the worst mistake of its life. The sound of tearing metal echoed through the corridors of Outpost Vega 9. Every few seconds the station trembled as something enormous smashed through another reinforced barrier. The vibration rolled to the floors like distant earthquakes, rattling equipment and sending tools sliding off work tables. In the command center, every screen now tracked a single target, the Kharvax Beast. Captain Marcus Hale watched the tactical map as the red marker moved deeper into the station, sector by sector, door by door. Nothing slowed it down. Security teams reporting heavy damage in Corridor C. A technician said nervously. Another voice followed immediately. Automated turrets in Section 4 had been destroyed. The feed switched to one of the security cameras. The footage showed a squad of armored soldiers firing plasma rifles down a long hallway. Blue energy bolts slammed into the creature's armored chest again and again. The Kharvax didn't even flinch. It simply walked forward. One massive claw swung through the air. The wall beside the soldiers exploded as the creature ripped through it like wet paper. The camera went black. Silence filled the command room. Lieutenant Daniel Cruz swallowed hard. "That squad had anti-armor weapons," he muttered. Marcus nodded slightly, but said nothing. Across the room, the alien researchers had completely lost their composure. Dr. Viral rushed between consoles, pulling up old records and combat reports. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," he shouted toward the human officers. "The Kharvax destroyed 3 military fleets during the Valtrex expedition. Entire warships could not stop it." One of the alien engineers pointed at the screen. "It's accelerating." The red marker on the tactical map moved faster now. The creature was no longer wandering. It was heading somewhere. Directly, deliberately. Lieutenant Cruz zoomed in on the path. "Captain," he said quietly. Marcus didn't look away from the screen. "I see it." The path cut straight across the station, past laboratories, past crew quarters, past the main hangar, and toward the most restricted area on the base, Sector 7. Cruz turned to Marcus. "Sir, if it reaches that sector..." Marcus raised a hand, stopping him. "I know." Another violent crash echoed through the base. A new security feed appeared. The Kharvax had reached a blast door designed to withstand starship cannon fire. The monster paused for only a second. Then it slammed its claws into the door. Metal bent inward like soft clay. A second strike tore the entire barrier off its hinges. Dr. Viral backed away from the screen, his breathing becoming faster. "This is madness," he whispered. "Your defenses are useless." Several alien personnel were already heading toward the evacuation docks. "We must abandon the station," one of them said, "before that creature reaches the core." The panic spread quickly. Even some of the human technicians looked uneasy, but Marcus remained perfectly calm. Lieutenant Cruz noticed. "Sir, you don't seem surprised." Marcus gave a small shrug. "I'm not." Cruz stared at him. You expected this? Marcus finally turned toward him. No, he said, but I'm not worried either. Another security feed flickered onto the main display. The creature was now only 2 sectors away from its destination. The Kharvax moved through the corridors like a living tank. Walls cracked when it brushed against them. Support pillars splintered. Every sensor in the base screamed warnings. Yet the monster ignored everything. It kept moving, step by step, towards Sector 7. Dr. Viral noticed the same thing. His eyes widened. No, that cannot happen. Marcus glanced at him. You know what's stored there? He asked. The alien scientist hesitated. Yes, Viral admitted quietly. I read the classified reports when your species joined the research council. His voice dropped to a whisper. That sector contains your experiment. Marcus leaned back slightly. That's one way to describe it. Cruz frowned. Sir, are you talking about Project? Marcus interrupted him. Let's just say Sector 7 contains something interesting. Another explosion shook the command center as the Kharvax smashed through a reinforced maintenance tunnel. Now it was only 1 corridor away. Emergency alarms intensified. Warning, the station AI announced. Sector 7 containment doors will automatically seal in 30 seconds. Dr. Viral immediately spun toward Marcus. Yes, he shouted. Seal the sector. Lock the doors before it enters. Several human officers nodded. It's the safest option, Cruz said. If we trap it outside, we might still contain the damage. Marcus looked at the countdown timer. 20 seconds. The giant blast doors protecting Sector 7 began sliding into place. 15 seconds. The Kharvax appeared on the hallway camera. Its glowing eyes stared directly toward the massive closing doors. 10 seconds. Dr. Viral exhaled in relief. We're safe. Marcus suddenly leaned forward and tapped the console. The command center froze. The doors stopped moving. The timer reset. Sector 7 doors. Open. Cruz stared at the screen. Sir? Dr. Viral's jaw dropped. You open the sector? Marcus folded his arms. Yes. Outside, the Kharvax reached the entrance corridor. The massive creature stepped calmly toward the now open doorway. Dr. Viral rushed toward Marcus in disbelief. Have you completely lost your mind? He shouted. If that thing reaches the experiment chamber. Marcus watched the screen with quiet interest. That's exactly what I want to see. The Kharvax walked through the final corridor. The reinforced doors of Sector 7 stood wide open, waiting. Cruz slowly turned toward Marcus. Sir, what exactly is inside that sector? Marcus smiled faintly. Something, he said, the galaxy has never encountered before. Moments later, the Kharvax crossed the threshold, and the doors of Sector 7 slowly closed behind it. Deep inside Sector 7, the lights flickered on one by one. Rows of reinforced ceiling lamps illuminated a massive containment chamber carved into the center of the station. The walls were layered with thick alloy plating, reinforced with energy barriers normally used to hold dangerous alien life forms. Gravity stabilizers hummed quietly in the floor. Emergency weapon systems lined the ceiling. Everything about the chamber had been designed for one purpose: containment. Yet the room itself looked strangely empty. In the command center, the live camera feed from Sector 7 appeared on the main screen. Alien scientists leaned forward nervously. Dr. Viral stared at the image in confusion. That's it, he asked. At the center of the chamber sat a single reinforced enclosure. Not a massive cage, not a battlefield, just a small containment pen surrounded by a low-energy barrier. Inside it, something moved. Lieutenant Daniel Cruz zoomed the camera closer. The image sharpened, and several alien researchers frowned in disbelief. The creature inside the enclosure was tiny compared to the monster that had just entered the sector. It stood on 4 legs, covered in short brown fur, with pointed ears and bright eyes that reflected the chamber lights. It stretched lazily and yawned. Then it wagged its tail. Dr. Viral blinked several times. What is that? He asked slowly. Marcus Hale answered without looking away from the screen. That, he said calmly, is Rex. One of the alien technicians tilted his head. Rex? A dog, Cruz added. The aliens looked even more confused. Dog, one of them repeated. Marcus nodded. Earth predator species, he explained. Domesticated thousands of years ago. Dr. Viral stared at the screen, struggling to process the information. You opened the sector, he said slowly, to confront the Kharvax Beast with that? Before Marcus could answer, a heavy impact shook the chamber. The camera feed shifted toward the far wall. The enormous security door leading into Sector 7 bent inward. Another strike followed. The reinforced steel twisted like soft metal. On the third impact, the door collapsed completely. The Kharvax Beast stepped into the chamber. Even through the camera feed, its presence felt overwhelming. 8 meters of armored muscle. Massive claws scraping across the floor. Its glowing eyes scanned the room with predatory focus. For a moment, the creature stood still. The aliens in the command room held their breath. The monster slowly lifted its head and sniffed the air. Then it turned toward the center of the chamber, toward the small containment pen. Dr. Viral's voice trembled. It senses another life form. The Kharvax began walking forward. Each step echoed like thunder. The floor shook beneath its weight. Inside the enclosure, Rex lifted his head. The small dog had been lying comfortably on the floor moments earlier. Now he slowly stood up. His tail stopped wagging. His ears lifted forward. Every human in the command room noticed the change immediately. Cruz leaned closer to the screen. Well, he murmured, he noticed it. The Kharvax stopped several meters away from the containment barrier. Its glowing eyes locked onto the small animal. The size difference was absurd. The monster could swallow the dog in a single bite. Dr. Viral covered his face with one hand. This is pointless, he said quietly. That creature will kill it instantly. But the Kharvax didn't attack. Instead, the massive predator lowered its head slowly. It sniffed the air again. The beast let out a low growl that vibrated through the chamber walls. Inside the pen, Rex didn't move. He simply stared back. Then something strange happened. The Kharvax took one slow step forward. And then it stopped. Its massive claws dug into floor. The creature's body tensed. Not like a hunter preparing to strike, but like something uncertain. The aliens in command room exchanged confused looks. Why isn't it attacking? One asked. Marcus crossed his arms. Because it's thinking. Dr. Viral stared at him. Thinking. The Kharvax circled slowly around the containment barrier. Its movements had changed. The unstoppable predator that had smashed through an entire military base was now moving carefully, cautiously, studying the small animal inside the pen. Inside the enclosure, Rex took a few steps forward. His posture was calm, but his eyes remained locked on the giant creature. The Kharvax growled again, louder this time. Rex responded with a low rumbling sound of his own. Not a bark, a warning. Cruz smirked slightly. Oh, yeah, he muttered. He definitely doesn't like that thing. Dr. Viral shook his head in disbelief. You're telling me, the scientist said, that a creature the size of a small vehicle is hesitating because of that animal? Marcus leaned forward slightly. Not hesitating, he said, recognizing. The Kharvax slowly stepped closer to the containment barrier. Its glowing eyes narrowed. Its muscles tightened. Inside the pen, Rex stopped moving. For a moment, both predators stood completely still, watching each other. Then the Kharvax let out a roar so powerful that the camera feed distorted from the sound. The entire command room shook. Several alien scientists stumbled backward, but Rex didn't flinch. Instead, the small dog bared his teeth and growled. The sound was quiet compared to the monster's roar, but something about it made every human in the room smile slightly. Dr. Viral looked between the two creatures in stunned silence. Then he slowly turned toward Marcus. What exactly did humans do to that animal? Marcus scratched his chin thoughtfully. Oh, he said, nothing special. He nodded toward the screen. We just let nature do its thing. Back in Sector 7, the Kharvax took one more cautious step forward. The containment barrier between the two creatures flickered. and suddenly the energy field shut off. The containment barrier vanished with a soft electrical hiss. Inside Sector 7, nothing now separated the two predators. In the command center, several alien scientists gasped at once. Dr. Viral grabbed the edge of the console. "Who deactivated the barrier?" he shouted. Lieutenant Daniel Cruz glanced at the system display. "No one did," he said. All eyes slowly turned toward Captain Marcus Hale. Marcus didn't deny it. He simply watched the screen. Back in the containment chamber, the Kharvax Beast noticed a change immediately. The massive creature lifted its head slightly, sensing that the invisible wall between it and the smaller animal had disappeared. For a moment, the chamber fell completely silent. 8 meters of armored muscle stood face to face, with a creature barely reaching its knee. The size difference was absurd. The Kharvax slowly stepped forward. Its claws scraped across the metal floor with a grinding sound. Each step carried the weight of something that had crushed armies. Inside the chamber, Rex didn't retreat. The small brown dog stood perfectly still. His ears were forward, his body low, his eyes locked directly onto Monster's glowing gaze. Humans in the command room recognized the posture instantly. Cruz leaned closer to the monitor. "Oh, boy," he murmured. "He's serious now." Dr. Viral looked horrified. "You released it," the scientist shouted. "You've just fed that animal to the most dangerous predator in the galaxy." Marcus didn't respond. On the screen, the Kharvax lowered its massive head, examining the small creature standing in front of it. It sniffed the air again. Its massive chest expanded with a deep breath. Then the monster roared. The sound was deafening. The walls of Sector 7 vibrated from the force of it. Across the command center, several alien researchers covered their ears. But Rex didn't move. Instead, he growled. It was a low, deep rumble that came from somewhere deep in his chest. The sound wasn't loud, but it was steady, confident. The Kharvax paused. For the first time since entering the station, the unstoppable predator hesitated. Its glowing eyes narrowed. The creature slowly began circling Rex. Each step was careful, measured, testing. Rex turned with it, never breaking eye contact. His muscles remained relaxed, but ready. Cruz chuckled quietly. "He thinks it's a game." Dr. Viral stared at him. "A game?" "Yes," Cruz said. "Rex loves chasing things bigger than him." The Kharvax suddenly lunged forward. Its enormous claws slammed toward the floor where Rex had been standing. But Rex was already gone. The dog moved like a blur. One moment he stood in front of the monster. The next he had slipped sideways, dodging the massive strike with effortless speed. The Kharvax slammed its claws into the metal floor. The impact dented the alloy plating. In the command room, several alien scientists gasped. "That creature just avoided a Kharvax strike," one shouted. The monster turned instantly and swung its massive tail. Again, Rex wasn't there. The small dog darted behind the giant creature, his paws barely making a sound against the floor. Cruz grinned. "Told you." Now the Kharvax was fully focused. It spun around and attacked again. And again. And again. Each strike powerful enough to rip through starship armor. Each one missing. Rex moved faster than anything the alien scientists had ever seen. He dodged under the creature's legs, leaped over sweeping claws, darted across the chamber floor with impossible agility. The Kharvax roared in frustration. The unstoppable predator had faced armies, fleets, and war machines. None of them had ever moved like this. Finally, the monster charged forward with its full weight. 8 tons of muscle surged across the chamber. The floor shook violently. But Rex didn't run. Instead, the small dog suddenly ran straight toward the monster. Dr. Viral screamed. "What is it doing?" At the last second, Rex leaped. The dog launched upward and landed directly on the Kharvax's armored back. His teeth snapped close to the creature's neck plates. Not biting, just close enough. The Kharvax froze. The giant predator stood completely still. Its muscles tensed. Its breathing slowed. In the command center, no one moved. Seconds passed. Then something happened that no record in the galaxy had ever described. The Kharvax Beast slowly lowered its massive body, first its head, then its shoulders, then its entire frame sank toward the floor. The unstoppable predator had just taken the universal posture of submission. Rex hopped down casually and walked in a small circle around the monster. His tail wagged again. The Kharvax remained still, completely still. Dr. Viral stared at the screen with wide, stunned eyes. That creature destroyed battle fleets, he whispered. Marcus nodded. Yes. The scientist slowly pointed at the monitor. And now it's submitting to dog? Marcus smiled faintly. Welcome to Earth biology, he said. Inside Sector 7, Rex trotted up to the massive alien beast. The small dog sniffed the creature's face curiously. Then he did something no one expected. He licked the Kharvax on the nose. The galaxy's most feared monster didn't move. Not even a little. It simply stayed there, waiting, like a disciplined animal beside its new master. The chamber fell silent. The massive Kharvax beast, 8 meters of raw, unstoppable muscle, lay quietly on the reinforced floor. Its glowing eyes dimmed to a calm amber. Next to it, Rex padded softly, tail wagging, sniffing the alien predator like a curious toddler inspecting a giant sibling. In the command center, the humans and aliens stared at the screen in stunned silence. Dr. Viral finally found his voice. This is impossible, he whispered, voice trembling. A creature that has destroyed fleets, submitting to a dog? Captain Marcus Hale leaned back in his chair, eyes still fixed on the monitor. Not submitting, he said calmly. Recognizing. Lieutenant Daniel Cruz frowned. Recognizing what? Marcus gestured toward the screen. Earth predators are survivors. Every human predator has evolved to read threats, to dominate without fighting when necessary. Rex doesn't just play. He commands respect. That's why the Kharvax stopped. Dr. Viral shook his head, incredulous. You're saying a dog tamed it? Marcus smiled faintly. Not tamed. Nature did. We just let it do what it knows. A soft growl echoed from Sector 7 as the Kharvax moved slightly, nudging closer to Rex. But it wasn't aggressive. It was calm. It had accepted its place. Across the station, alien officers whispered nervously to one another. This changes everything, one murmured. The humans, they don't just survive. They command. Hours passed. The Kharvax didn't attack anyone. It didn't escape. It simply stayed beside Rex, seemingly at peace. For the first time, the aliens understood a universal truth they had long ignored. Humans had evolved in a world full of predators far deadlier than the galaxy's fiercest monsters. Marcus leaned down, scratching Rex behind the ears. And some of them, he said, a faint grin crossing his face, are even bigger. Dr. Viral swallowed nervously. You mean Earth has more creatures like that? Marcus chuckled. Oh, yes. Some of them are small, some of them are huge. But all of them know how to survive. The legend of the Kharvax Beast ended that day, its fearsome reputation replaced by a new understanding. On Earth, monsters didn't rule, humans did. Outside the station, word began spreading across alien space. Tales whispered in frightened tones by explorers and scientists. Never release a monster near humans. Because on Earth, predators don't just fight. They follow the lead of the smallest, fiercest creatures, and sometimes the monsters become pets. And in the heart of Outpost Vega 9, Rex curled up beside the Kharvax Beast, tail wagging lazily, while the galaxy slowly realized a terrifying truth. Humans had mastered nature itself.